Buying a property is one of the most popular wealth accumulation strategies in Australia. Once you've bought a property though, one of the big decisions you need to make as a property investor is whether or not you have that property professionally managed. I'm here to discuss this issue further with Tim Johnstone, Principal and Real Estate Agent with Edwards Windsor. Thanks for joining me, Tim.
Thank you, Charles.
What are some of the services that a property manager actually offers to an investor?
In a nutshell, Charles, it's peace of mind, making sure your property is managed. There's three main aspects to it. One is finding a tenant at the right market rental. Secondly is making sure the property is maintained to a suitable standard, and that includes statutory requirements. And third is the financial, make sure the rent's collected and the outgoings are paid.
Apart from what you've just said, what are some of the attributes that an investor should look for when choosing a property manager?
They should look for a professional outfit. How do you choose a professional? How do you decide whether it's a professional outfit? I'd go and visit the property manager, ask them some questions, sit down as like an interview, ask them questions about how do they find a tenant, how do they qualify a tenant, how often do they inspect the property, get a copy of their condition report, what do they look for, how many photos do they take, have there been any disputes and how do they handle those, what sort of lease do they use, what length of bond do they request. Some of the questions. And finally you'd ask about fee, but I wouldn't use fee as the main deciding factor for appointing an agent. And I'd also ask them for names of some of their owners, and with permission to ring those owners and just get some feedback on how they perform.
And what are the fees payable to a property manager?
They're generally 8 to 9%. You might get a slight discount for multiple properties, and on top of that you've got the cost of finding the tenant. Some agents, I understand, charge other fees. It might be for photocopying, providing additional reports, but that should be included in the fee, and you want to be careful of that.
How can a property manager actually protect your property, which for many people is one of the greatest investments?
It's all about maintaining the value of the property, and that's twofold really. One is making sure that they've got the right tenant at the right rental, and then ensuring over time that rental increases and they keep abreast of the market. And secondly is making sure the property is maintained, it doesn't deteriorate, and it complies with statutory requirements, be it fire or building maintenance.
Is there any other advice which you can offer a property investor?
I'd stick to the old principle of location, location, location. Buy in the right location. You hear plenty of stories where people have bought properties, they look all right, but they're in the wrong location. And what do I mean by location? Make sure they've got the sufficient tenant demand to fill the property, close to amenities and schools, what tenants want. And once you've come up with the right location, let's look at what the tenants want. Do they want units? Do they want 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house? And then decide what type of house you're going to buy. And once you've chosen the location and the style of the house, look at the maintenance. Is it a low maintenance, or is it going to cost you a lot to maintain that property? And then finally, I'd go for some independent advice, whether it's a valuer who can help you make sure you're paying a reasonable price, solicitor for the contract, and importantly, a building inspector to make sure there's no major faults with the property. And finally, do your own research, use that independent research, and never buy on emotion.
Thank you for that, Tim. It's very interesting insight in terms of some of the issues that a property investor has to consider in the modern world. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.